now, let's talk about some video game stuff. Let's talk about WWE2K25 because I am excited as hell for this game. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. It's just, woo, the rush of the year with the new game coming out. As you guys know, the past two, maybe three 2K games for the WWE side of things, 100, 150 hour plus I've put into it. Mostly GM, but still really excited for this one and just the iterations that they put on each year. So we're going to be talking about, try to cover everything that they've revealed so far about the game when this podcast comes out, whether it's separate or in full. There's probably a little bit more information that we might have. But right now, as of recording, we'll talk about what is going on and what they've showed so far. So let's start right at the top. Let's talk about the additions of the game that they do have with Roman Reigns as your cover superstar this year. So we have three separate versions. We have the Standard Edition, the Dead Man Edition, the Dead Man Edition, and the Bloodline Edition. You have your Standard Edition, which is physical and digital. Dead Man and Bloodline are digital only. Sad face. Tiers go as follows. Standard Dead Man is like your deluxe version that the ladies had last year. Shout out to them. And then the Bloodline is akin to your 40 Years of WrestleMania edition last year. So, what do you get with each edition? So, Standard Edition, you get the base game. You get a pre-order bonus of the Wyatt 6. Includes My Faction Persona cards for Uncle Howdy, Dexter Lumis, Nikki Cross, Joe Gacy, and Eric Rowan. And then for the PS5 and Xbox Series X and S only, you get some Island cosmetics, which we're going to talk about later, an Uncle Howdy mask, a Nikki Cross mask, and you also get a digital edition of the standard game too. So you get physical and digital. Oh, that's 2K24. So if you missed out on last year's game, you get 2K24 digital. It's kind of nice. Then we're going to the Dead Man Edition. A little bit more expensive, obviously. Yeah, right. If you pre-order the Dead Man Edition, or rather get it, in addition to launching 7 days earlier than the Standard Edition, so you get to play on the 7th compared to the 14th. I did not say that. Launches on the 14th, unless you get this fancy one, 7th. In addition to playing 7 days earlier than the Standard Edition. Delition? Oh boy. Standard Edition. Delition. Thank you, lady. The Dead Man Edition includes the following items. Base game, pre-order bonus of the Wyatt 6. And then you get the Dead Man Edition bonus pack. My Faction Persona cards. Undertaker from 1990. Mattel Elite Collection Greatest Hits Undertaker, aka Action Taker. The usable urn, Brother Love as a manager, and the Undertaker 1995 mask as an island cosmetic. You'll also get the Season Pass, 5 post-launch DLC character packs, and the Supercharger for My Rise, and 15K virtual currencies. Last but not least, the Bloodline Edition. Also March 7th, you get to play early. In this edition, you get everything in the base game. You get everything in the Dead Man Edition. You will also get My Faction Persona cards, Mattel Elite Collection Greatest Hits, Roman Reigns, Mattel Series 114, Jey Uso, so 2 more action figures. So for My Faction, if you didn't know, the Persona cards, they added in 2K24. Special card you unlock really by working hard in My Faction. You unlock the Persona cards in My Faction. You can use it in any mode outside of that game. So, for example, in 2K24, they gave everybody Sheamus 09, so you got to hear his Lobster Head song. So Sheamus 09 was in there. Ulafala Roman was in there. Becky Lynch from like 2016 was in there. Chad Gable with long hair was in there. CM Punk with long hair. The Straight Edge Society mask, bald. All those versions were in there, along with a lot more. So that's what those are. Sorry. Circling back. So you get those 2 action figure Persona cards. Island Cosmetics. You get the Family Above All hoodie. You get the OTC shirt. You get the yeet, tank top, and yeet, sunglasses. You get the WrestleMania 41 pack, akin to last year. WrestleMania 41 Arena, and 3 My Faction Persona cards. A new playable superstar, TBA. So this superstar is going to be at Mania. You get the Mania attire. You get WrestleMania Main Event number 1, TBA. WrestleMania Main Event number 2, TBA. So essentially you're getting 3 Persona cards for WrestleMania 41 attires for these 3 superstars. Cool. You get the Rock Nation of Domination pack. My Faction Persona card for The Rock. Not available for individual purchase. And then you get the Season Pass. You get the Superstar Mega Boost. My Rise Boost, 200 attributes, whatever. And 100,000 virtual currency. All the Deadman bonus stuff. The Wyatt 6 stuff. Shabam. So you get pretty much everything in a nice, neat little bow. Woo! Good stuff. To note, included in both the Deadman and Bloodline editions includes 5 post-launch DLC characters packs, as well as the supercharger that unlocked all WWE legends at the start, including RVD, Stacy Keibler, and Eddie Guerrero. It also unlocks throwback arenas such as WCW, Fall Brawl War Games, and SummerSlam 88. So those are some of the unlockables that you can get with the in-game currency that you get just by playing matches. You can, if you get the supercharger, I don't know if it gives you the choice, which always pissed me off, because like if I just want to play and unlock the game, I think it does. I think it's like you got to activate it. I don't remember. Don't quote me on it. But it unlocks all the legends for you, all the different arenas, your championships, stuff like that. If you didn't want to play exhibition mode and all these different ones for like ages and ages to slowly unlock stuff, this is available to you. So we got your additions there. Since then, they've had the announcement trailer with Roman talking about some of the game modes that we're going to go over and features. And yeah, there was a reveal event also at the Royal Rumble this past weekend. So some people got hands-on with it, including Up, Up, Down, Down, which will be talking some of their reveals that were released today, Tuesday, as of recording. So we might be getting more information from those people who were at the event in the coming days. I know Greg Miller from Kinda Funny and This Is Awesome on the network was out there as well for the Rumble. Don't know if he was just out there for himself or in years past he has gone out there and done like little promos and talking segments, interviews with superstars as they reveal their ratings for the game. This past Monday night on Raw, they did start showing superstars' ratings. So if that comes out with like a roster reveal, that might be the case. So let's talk about the features that will be available in this game. So we've alluded to the island in the pre-order cosmetic stuff, right? What the fuck is that? So this is new to 2K25. This is, from what I can tell, and a lot of people are thinking, this is akin to the city in the NBA titles. So in the city, you make your baller, your NBA player for My Player mode, and this is like your online hub to play online games with other players, whether it's 2v2, 5v5, whatever it is. You play basketball, you can also go around. That's where your hub of like, I want to go to my next My Player game. I want to change my attire. I want to buy cosmetics for whatever it is. And you run around and do that. The My Island seems to be WWE2K25's version of this. Now, this is where it gets a little concerning. It's cool. I think it's a cool thing, and I'm looking forward to exploring it. Nowhere does it read this, so this is just me making a lot of assumptions. I do not want this to be NBA 2K25, or NBA 2K's rather, online smorgasbord of people where you make a creator wrestler, you're running around like a MMO, and all these other players are running around doing their things. It does not read in any way, shape, or form that it is going to have this online functionality. which I think is a good thing, because while I personally do not play a lot of online matches in WWE2K, from what I have heard from the internet, granted the internet, once again, circling back, negative square, negativity arena, apparently online, not that great in terms of connections. I've had 50-50, sometimes it stutters, sometimes it's smooth as butter. That would be a big undertaking. I don't know why it would be particularly different from an NBA side of thing. I'm not sure if it's a funding thing. Obviously, NBA, perhaps a bit bigger in terms of a fan base than a WWE. I have no idea why the framework, whatever, especially from both from Visual Concepts and 2K, why they would act so differently or not work. I don't know. But what it says on the site: The Island. For the first time in franchise history, step outside the ropes and onto The Island for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. In this immersive WWE-themed world, complete quests, take on challenges, compete in live events, and upgrade and customize your My Superstar through multiple storyline chapters. Fight to join the original Tribal Chief Roman Reigns at the head of the table. So I don't know what that means. Initially, I thought maybe, oh, okay, this sounds a little bit like My Faction. Maybe they're taking My Faction and mushing it into this interactive playground. Doesn't seem to be the case, as My Faction's still around, as we heard from all the cards that we talked about in the pre-order stuff. So this just seems like another game mode. So hopefully it's fun. Maybe it's something you take your superstar, do these, like, okay, fight against the ladder match against Dirty Dominic Mysterio, and I gotta win on it. I don't know what it is. Time will tell. Hopefully we get a deep dive of The Island as the weeks go on, as we get a little bit closer, and hopefully it's not a flop. Hopefully it's not something that they invested all this time into and other things suffered for it. Hopefully this is an additive instead of a, like, something that detracts from the rest of the experience, the rest of the game. So time will tell there. Let's talk about Showcase. The Bloodlines Dynasty, an all-new showcase hosted by the wise man Paul Heyman, celebrates one of the most iconic wrestling family dynasties. The Bloodline, featuring Roman Reigns, The Rock, Yokozuna, Jacob Fatu, and more. Relive historic showdowns or flip the script and change the outcome of select matchups. Plus, experience dream matches between members of the Bloodline and WWE superstars and legends. So, cool. When I saw the cover, I was like, oh, it's a Roman Reigns, and even in the trailer, it's a Roman Reigns Bloodline showcase. And a lot of that has happened in recent history, so it's like, is that going to be fun? Is that going to be exciting? Learning more about it, I'm a little bit more enticed. And this is part of the up, down, down reveal that was kind of cool, as they showed off a little bit of the showcase mode, aka one match. So there are real matches that is going to mirror and have you replicate certain things that happen in the match and go through for unlockables and whatnot. That is in there. However, it's not all about Roman. As they were toggling through the menus, there was Roman. There was Roman Seth Royal Rumble 2022, I believe, when Seth came out in the Shield gear that you could see in that initial launch trailer. There was that match. There's Nia Jax versus Lyra Valkyria from Queen of the Ring. That's cool, as a recent one. But then you also got a match that they showed was a what-if scenario. It was the Wild Samoans, which new characters for the game. That's awesome. Afa and Sika. It was them against the Dudley Boys in a tables match. So it seems like you're going to get these weird, crazy scenarios of like these two people or these teams never matched up. What would it be like if they did? So that's kind of cool. That's exciting instead of just rinse repeat history as we've done normally with showcases. So excited to jump into that. And once again, like seeing characters like the Samoans being added for the first time in 2K series, I believe, them specifically. Cool. All right. So showcase mode, more of the same there. Expanded gameplay, intergender wrestling makes its long-awaited debut in WWE2K franchise. Pit WWE or player-created superstars from men's and women's divisions against each other to set up countless matchups across multiple modes. Additional features include the return of chain wrestling, underground, and bloodline rules match types. and barricade diving. I don't know why I put such an inflection on that. So as you can hear, some cool stuff from a gameplay perspective that they are adding. I don't know how exciting the chain wrestling is going to be. Intergender, cool. I wonder if that will cross over to other modes, a la GM mode. There was a match shown on Up, Down, Down of an intergender rumble, so that's pretty cool. Seems like there won't be any limitations there of what match type you could do. Potentially, who knows? It's just nice to give player that options. It's not necessarily a selling point for me, but just like, oh, all right, cool. Underground rules, I don't know how that's going to work. The ropes are gone. They have shown, not footage of it, but there is a screenshot of it with Carmelo Hayes and Sami Zayn. So intrigued to see how that will play out. They do have people on the outside of the ring. So will lumberjack matches potentially ever make an appearance? We'll see. And then Bloodline rules. Pretty much a no DQ match. But what I've heard or what I've read is how this works is your finishers. If you choose to, you can use a finisher saved up to call in an ally. And eventually it can be like a mini War Games match where you can have 3 allies on your side, the opponent can have 3 allies on their side, and it's still, go to the pinfall and have some fun and chaos there. So intrigued to try that one out and see how smoothly that one plays. All right, big one for me that I'm looking forward to, my GM mode. Take your show on the road and challenge friends worldwide and enhance my GM for WWE2K25. Now with online multiplayer up to 4 players, which I thought was already a thing. Draft WWE superstars and legends to your weekly show's roster and lead your brand multiple week seasons with a bigger selection of general managers, cross-brand platforms, cross-brand PLEs, and more. So, as you guys know, as I said earlier, GM mode is where I spent 90% of my time in these games now. It's a lot of fun. I've enjoyed what 2K has done with the experience, whether I'm playing solo or whether I'm playing with Papa Griff. It's been a great time. The online component here, I don't know if I'll dive into unless obviously friends pick up this game and want to do that. But it's kind of like a D&D session where you kind of got to schedule it out, especially if you're going to keep up to date with it. I thought they already had 4-player online. Maybe they only had 2. So that's, all right, cool. Bigger selection of GMs has me wondering. Sonya's back to wrestling. Will she drop? I think GMs that we're going to add, Ava from NXT, Nick Aldis from SmackDown. Do you go funny? Do you add Ava's assistants? Do you have Mr. Robert Stone? Do you have a Stevie Turner? I'm going to lean towards both of them. But outside of them, I'm curious who they'll add. Obviously, we got Heyman added last year. We got Teddy Long added last year. William Regal, Ted DiBiase. To my knowledge, was never a GM. So he was the one I was like, head scratcher. Interested to see who else they add, but those are the 2 I think are locked in as new GMs. Cross-brand pay-per-views or premium live events. That's exciting. I know we had that back in the OG run of 06 to 08. How's that going to work out? Obviously, with your booking, you were trying to do your little bell curve. That will be exciting and enticing to figure out how that works. And will they bring back the gimmick of old for like the Royal Rumble, for example? The winner of the Rumble, that show also got the main event of the Mania show. So like, could you bring that back? Money in the Bank. Do you have, you don't have to have the qualifiers. I'm sure like, hey, you pick 4 participants from your show. They pick 4 participants from their show. And then you have a Money in the Bank person on your roster that you get to choose. Hey, you're going to cash in, like an interference type thing. That would be pretty cool. So excited to see the changes there. We've talked about a little bit of critiques and criticisms from last year's. Some things that work, some things I was like, a little hesitant on. So I'll be intrigued to see what they change in there. From the screenshot I can see here, seems like the layout is the same. You're still doing the Hall of Fame trophies, 0 out of 10. You still have 25 shows per season. Budget could be different as this person has 300,000 on them. You still have home, book show logistics, manage roster, power cards, and career, I believe that is. You still have the GM assistant. and you still have talent scouts. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see how what other tweaks they do make, but that's the one I got my eye on. For you creative folk. Oh, I will also say, sorry, there was one more thing that the shout out to the What Culture gaming site, but they have an article up about 10 gameplay details you need to know about 2K25. They put, my GM, meanwhile, will now be playable online with support up to 4 general managers, as well as interbrand premium live events that will be impacted based on how you play. Alan Flores, a visual concepts design director, specifically mentioned backstabbing, complaining superstars, and people trying to trade each other. So it seems like there's going to be a whole nother drama scale that we need to deal with. Oh boy, if you play GM, you know. Oh, I want $50,000. Oh, I want $100,000 because you really want me on your roster. And then they're like, I'm going to leave. And you're like, I'm not giving you the money. You're like, all right, I'm going to stay another week. You can figure it out, or they'll just quit on you, even if they were injured for 3 weeks and couldn't be booked. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Interesting. How does the trades evolve? We did trades at the end of each PLE last year's game. Is it something where you can do trades at any point? I'd kind of like that. We'll see. Interesting stuff. Now for you creative folk, my universe gets a little bit of an update. Your universe, your way. WWE2K's sandbox mode receives new upgrades to give players even greater control over their universe experience, including the long-awaited return of promos. The new system includes multiple promo types and outcomes with new cutscenes and branching choices. Universe seemed fun. I'm never one to be like, which is weird because GM mode, but like build a whole roster and story and like be really invested in it. That's a whole like echelon above me, I feel, for what I'm capable of doing or want to do. My Rise, a mode I have admittedly been slacking big time on. A unified My Rise. Take control of your custom superstar from the women's or men's division in a singular multi-gender My Rise storyline where Bayley, Kevin Owens, and other superstars infiltrate NXT and attempt to take control of the entire WWE universe. Featuring new brawl environments, unlockable arenas, characters, and more, plus new ally storylines involving Jey Uso, Bianca Belair, Seth frickin' Rollins, and other WWE superstars. Seems cool. I heard 2K24's one was good too. Oops. A roster for the ages. WWE2K25 brings you an unparalleled lineup of current superstars from Raw, SmackDown, NXT, plus legends and WWE Hall of Famers. The stacked roster of over 300 playable characters spans multiple generations, including Seth Rollins, Undertaker, The American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, Jade Cargill, Rhea Ripley, and more. Holy shit. 300? Impressive. I think we've been at the 200, 250 is what the marketing terms have been saying for the last couple of years. My only question here, yes, 300. Holy crap, that's a lot. How many Roman Reigns are we getting? How many John Cena's are we getting? How many Jey Usos are we getting? You know, am I going to have the 10 John Cena's of the past? While enjoyable and fun to unlock, is this just marketing talk? Probably. We'll talk about some more new additions later, but still. Hold on to your horses. Expectations. Last one, arenas. Travel up the card while you travel the world. WWE 2K25 gives you access to many popular rings from your favorite WWE events. Okie doke. So, a lot of cool stuff coming in 2K25 from their features. Let me just double check my notes and see if there's anything else here that I did not talk about. Entrances, they have revealed a few entrances. The final boss, the Rock's entrance, is out, and it looks amazing. It's kind of his WrestleMania entrance from the Bloodline fight night 1. So he's got the fire, a little Brahma Bull. He's got his championship that he's got. It looks like a very cool entrance, build up and all. And then IGN has it for their IGN First coverage. Just showed off Jey Uso's entrance. A little clunky in some of the audience animation. Hopefully they can clean up that. But good to see. Characters look great. One feature that is pretty cool, once again, shout out to Up, Up, Down, Down for showing this, you can change camera angles now during entrances. So you can do your spectator camera, your cinematic, like staged motions that the camera would do during the entrance itself, or you can switch up views. You can do from different audience perspectives. You can do a third-person camera over the shoulder of the superstars making the entrances, and you can just switch this on the fly. We got this last year with spectating matches, how you had all those different camera angles, or a free cam. I don't know if you can free cam the entrances, but cool to see. I don't know if it's a feature I'll use all that often, but cool to see that you can now change that during the entrances themselves, and it's not just a hard locked, cutscene type thing. So yeah, that is it for my notes here. I will talk about a few more superstars that I did see revealed. Lola Vice from NXT is confirmed. Saw her on a screenshot. Not sure how I feel about her character model. Doesn't really look like her all that much. Was a little concerning. We already talked about the Wild Samoans. Cool to see them in there. We had Kalani Jordan. She's in there. We talked about her as one of the ones I was anticipating. Alundra Blaze makes her return to the series. And then a very fun reveal. We did not get to see the character models, but we got a little shout out once again from Up, Up, Down, Down and Xavier Woods. He had to ask the whoever was off camera from 2K if he's like, can I say that? 3-minute warning is in the game. We've seen Umaga, so we'll be able to see him as Jamal, and then Rosie will be in there. So maybe we'll get, a superhero in training Rosie. We'll have to see. But all in all, I am absolutely excited for 2K25. Will there be a little bit of a stream ski on March 7th? Maybe, keep an eye out. Excited to jump into it. GM mode, like I said, just looking forward to that. Looking forward to seeing who makes it in the game. As the full episode comes out from tomorrow, like a day from, oh boy, how do I speak? Full episode, aka the 7th, the day after this episode drops in full. 1 month till the game comes out if you pre-order. Then a week after that, the full release. But still, it's right there. I can taste it. Anyways. This has been another episode of the Wait What Are We Talking About podcast. My name is Bret, aka Enigma9011, and you can catch this podcast live when we go live over on twitch.tv/Enigma9011. You can drop a follow over there. You'll get notified when we go live, so you join in on the fun and conversation with us. But if you can't catch live, that's okay. Go over to YouTube and podcast services the very next week, or it's broken out topic by topic and put as one big video and MP3 for your amusement on the following Friday. Last but not least, any way you can support the show, like, shares, subscriptions, reviews, whatever it is. It may seem small, but if you take the time to do that, we would love and appreciate you for it. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today, gushing about the Rumble, gushing about 2K25. Hope you guys are excited for it, or excited for WrestleMania coming up. And yeah, thanks for giving us a watch, giving a listen, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.